Hey everybody, my name is Alex Merced from alexmerced.com. This is another 101 video, and this is Politics 101. And just because a lot of people get confused with the idea of government and the idea of politics. Politics and government are oftentimes very much intertwined, but let's pretend there was a world with no government, you'd still have politics. Because politics is all about power and the distribution of power. Kind of like how economics is about sort of scarce resources and how resources move around. Politics is more about who has power, and power is not necessarily always formal. It's not always because you are the leader of an organization or you are an elected representative. Sometimes power, and oftentimes power, is an accumulation of your influence, of your relationships you have with others. So oftentimes when you see politicians who succeed, they don't succeed because they're better on the issues, they have more money. They oftentimes just have the right people with the right influence among the people they need to have influence with on their side. Okay, it's often the community leaders, whether it's the heads of the church or the most active participants in the church. Oftentimes the people with the most influence are the people who give the most to the community, in a sense. People need help, that's the person they go to. They need advice, that's the person they go to. And over time, they accumulate a lot of influence because of their involvement. And that influence can then be used to steer things in different directions. And oftentimes, formal politicians, people who are running for elections, have to, basically accumulate sort of a vote of confidence from enough of these community leaders, these influential figures, because these influential figures can basically say, vote for this person, and other people will go, yes, we'll vote for that person. And this is what happens when someone does get elected, that they now not necessarily owe favors, but they cannot necessarily go against sort of the people who have influence, because if they do, next election they just go vote for the other guy. So in politics, the people who have the real power are going to be mostly not necessarily the people with the money, not necessarily the people with the right positions, but it's the people with influence in their communities. Okay, and it's no one person, but it's many people. And it's a chain, okay? So the larger the office, so if you're talking about national office, you're not going to have a relationship with every influential community leader, and this is where political parties come into play. In order to have enough people with enough influence to win like large-scale elections or make large-scale change, people form political groups. And they're not necessarily just political parties, which focus on electoral politics, but this could be other organizations that focus around an issue, whatnot. But basically what they're trying to do is, yes, they need resources to operate, they need resources to get messages out, but more than anything, they need people with influence, and politics is all about influence. So once you kind of understand that, it makes it much easier to kind of see how do you function in politics, and what's the difference between winning and losing. It's not always money. It's not always something that has to do with the candidate, more than who does the candidate have behind them. And also how to accumulate influence is oftentimes not a matter of just saying, hey, do you know who I am? But giving, by basically being there for the people around you, that people respect you and listen to you, and that'll give you more say in the political scheme of things. Now you can also have influence if you have control over resources, because if you have control over resources, other people are going to want access to those resources. That gives you influence as well. You can get influence because you're attractive and people want access to that as well. There's other ways to gain influence, but the one way that's always accessible to everyone is to engage with people and develop relationships that eventually build into influence, and that influence builds into power, and that makes you a political figure. And no one's ever going to have an equal. So you could take out all the money in politics. You could get rid of money altogether. You would still have people who have unequal amounts of influence that can influence politics in certain ways and influence sort of how things happen. So it's a nature of the differences between people. And once you sort of appreciate that, you can appreciate more sort of how politics plays out, and why the people who are least likely to build relationships with others and sit there and reach out to others and get connected to their communities are oftentimes the people who have the hardest time succeeding in politics. So I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great day and enjoy.